Hey, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We are going to work on this super duper cute kit today. I actually sell in a boutique, and Valentine's Day last year in 2022 was, I'm sorry, 2023, we're still in 2023, was super great. They sold a ton of Valentine's Day designs, so I'm trying to prepare. In doing so, I also prepared some Valentine's Day kits for y'all that are available in our shop. You can find the link in the description below. So the kit came with our patent pending pancake wreath set. So it's the 14-inch, the 10-inch, and the sign extender. We're going to be using the 14-inch frame on this design, so these will be extra. And we do have videos to show you in our YouTube and on Facebook, different ways to use those. So I'm going to set those aside for now. It came with this embossed, so it's not flat exactly. It's a little raised, as you can see here, and it's metal. It's not super duper heavy, but it's heavier. And the kit also comes with 2 zip tie mounts, and we're gonna use them with pipe cleaners. But I'm gonna use this as one of our pieces, and I just added one of those. Now you can do whatever you want. You can put them side to side if you want. You can put one and use this top as the other connection place. It's totally up to you. But what I do want you to know is I peeled off the back here. And I want you to do this first if this is what you're going to do. I peeled off the back, and it's sticky, okay? But I'm not a trust person. I don't just trust. And so I added a little tiny bit of extra glue to the back right on the sticky part to kind of help that. And then I take these super duper tight clamps and clamp them together just to help it, you know, stay real tight. I can barely open these with my hands. It takes 2. And kind of just help it secure. So you can put them side to side. You could put one up here. I just chose to go using this as my one point of secure, and just one other. So it's totally up to you. Okay, so your kit comes with 2. That's yours, but prepare that now. Again, this is E6000. You can use DAP Rapid, which I probably should be using instead. This takes a little bit longer to use, and it is horrible. I mean, it's a good product, but the packaging is not great. You know, anyway, that's what I use. Okay, so your kit came with the pancake bundle. It came with 1 full roll of mesh, which we're going to talk about. It came with 3 ribbons for your bow. 1, 2, 3. Don't cut these, okay? These are for your bow. You're going to cut them once you had the bow made and you're trimming the tails, but this is for your bow. And your ribbon that's for your tails were the buffalo plaid and the round glitter heart, red glitter hearts, okay? The ribbon tail ribbon comes wrapped like this, okay? So it's wrapped in 14-inch strips. You want them to be 14 inches cut. So just measure just to make sure, not this one. I'm talking about these. I already pre-cut so that this would go a little bit quicker. So just measure just to be sure that it's 14 inches, okay? Before you cut. It should be 14 inches, but just in case. And then these, it doesn't matter. We just roll them in 14 inches just because we're already rolling these. But if you take the ribbon and you're going to just cut, okay? You'll cut one side and you'll cut the other. Again, not this one. It's for the bow. I'm talking about this ribbon. It'll be coiled, okay? You're going to cut both sides. And then you ended up with 14-inch strips, okay? You're going to dovetail both of the ends. So fold it in half. Take your scissors, cut on the fold, and cut up towards the edge. So it leaves a nice little folded V-shape edge, okay? Now I've already done that ahead of time to make sure it goes a little bit quicker. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to set our ribbons for the bow aside somewhere. Okay. And then also I pre-cut our ribbons for our mesh. I pre-cut our mesh. So it comes with a full roll. It's 10 inches wide, 10 yards long. We cut them 20 inches long. 20 inches long. Okay, so I used my rotary cutter, apply nice good pressure, and against my self-healing mat. Okay, so they would cut this, they would cut the material, you know, nice and a good nice straight edge. It is a woven material, so if you're not careful and you're kind of manhandling it, it will fray. So all I did, again, nice pressure, cut off that edge. I'm sorry, cut your pieces 20 inches long. Okay, so I already did that to get us started. Now this is what's left with that. Okay, your kit also comes with the pipe cleaners, enough to create this wreath. So we're using the outside and the inside. The frame, super duper easy, has a hole and a notch that match. Okay, hole and a notch, a hole and a notch. There are a couple extras, but because they don't have a notch, we're not going to play with them for just now. So everywhere there's a hole, I'm going to go around and add our pipe cleaner. So you don't have to measure where the pipe cleaners go. It's already done for you. It's a nice wood frame so that you don't have to worry about any wire breaking or nothing. Nice and sturdy for you to add as much to your wreath as your little heart desires. We've made some pretty big designs on this frame. We typically make the pancake wreath, which is what we're going to make right now, but we've made some pretty big and heavy designs. So I'm proud to say that this is a patent pending design. Myself and Damon from Deco Exchange have teamed up together and have a patent on this frame. It is specifically for the pancake frame, which we're going to do right now, but as you'll see if you're following me, it doesn't matter big or small. I can create some really cool things on this frame. So it's not just for the pancake frame. And the reason it's called the pancake frame, if you've never watched us before, is it is a round, like a pancake, excuse me, but flat. This is designed specifically to go between your main door and your storm door. Not that it has to be that way, but it's designed for those specific folks. Okay, so we're going to take our mesh, it's 20 inches long, again 20 inches, and we're just going to ruffle right up the center. So right up that center, all the way, making sure I grab even that last inch, grab it so it's nice and tight. Okay, I'm going to come right in that outside, put it right in the pipe cleaner that's waiting for us, and gently bring up your pipe cleaner, crisscross, twist, twist. Then here I'm going to overlap these two so I can complete that real kind of pancake look, and I can make it kind of round but a little more flat. So I'm going to tuck those ruffles under the pipe cleaners here, and then what I have left I'm going to just curl under so it stays round but flat like a pancake. And then we're going to take and do that all the way around on the outside. We're going to do our outside ring first. Now I try real hard to make sure I'm kind of ruffling up that center, but to be honest, it might vary a little bit. I'm trying to stay in the center as best as I can, but sometimes it goes a little wonky, just a little bit, but it does make for a real pretty ruffle, so I never try to undo it and then redo it. All that will do is kind of really make those edges not look so crisp anymore. So you see it is fraying. Maybe you can't see. It is fraying here, but we're going to do a really good job of covering that up and concealing, camouflaging, whatever you want to call it, so that in the end you don't see those imperfections, even though they are definitely there. So if you get to this point and you're like, oh, that doesn't look like Melissa's, it's okay. Try not to undo it. Try not to undo it. So what I would suggest, if this is your very first time and you are watching and you're making the kit, okay, these kits are available in our shop. If you're making the kit, what I would suggest if this is your first time is take what's left here and cut off a piece and just practice. First of all, you'll see what happens to it when you practice and then let go and then try to redo it. You'll see how really kind of yucky those edges really do get. So you'll save your good pieces for what's going to go in the wreath, and your practice pieces will be practice. So yeah, if it's your first time, that's a really good piece of advice, I'd say. But once it's in and you've kind of placed it where it needs to go, don't touch it. Just let it be, just let it be. Just let it do its thing. And try not to really touch too much so that it can, not fray. Now I'm just going to leave that there. This is like really sticking out here. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to leave that there, and we can see in the end how we're not going to see it at all. And it's not worth even going to grab it and, cutting it off or fixing it, or it's not even worth it. Just leave it, and we're going to cover it up and do a good job of that. Now, if you're looking at my nails, listen, had really busy November and December, and I got behind, and then I got sick, and then my girl, which I only go to this one girl for like years because I'm real particular, and she of course was going to be out of town and totally booked for the holiday. So my daughter and I decided that we were just going to paint our nails. So I painted one hand, and then she helped me with the other one. It's fine. It's totally fine. She thinks it's beautiful and lovely, so I'm just going to leave it, and, it'll be fine. Busy moms, busy business, busy holiday. It's fine, right? She thinks it's a masterpiece, so it's just going to stay that way. If you're thinking like, what is wrong with this girl? All right, last piece going in now. Because of what we just went through, putting those pieces in, overlapping them, making sure they're nice and ruffled, we're going to complete this outside layer so that we don't have to come back and touch it, okay? Because once I put my mesh on the inside here, on these insides, it will cover this pipe cleaner, and then I've got to get my big chunky hands in there to put the ribbon in, and it just makes the inside layer, you have to redo it. So I'm not even gonna touch the inside yet. I'm just gonna do the outside complete, and then we'll do the inside, and you'll see why. So we have these 2.5 inch ribbons. I always put my favorite on the top. Remember, we cut them 14 inches long, and I always put my favorite on the top, okay? We dovetailed the edges. I'm going to fold them, find the center, unfold, and then I'm just going to scrunch up that center. Now, both of these ribbons are kind of on the thin side, and that's totally okay. Again, we just want to make sure we get them in there nice and tight. Crisscross, twist, 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 twist. I twist several times, okay? And then I'm going to cut off the excess because we don't need it. I'm going to push that inside, and then I'm going to pull those up and apart. Pull them up apart away from each other, and side to side away from each other. Okay? That way you have nice, big fanning. I can see all of those ribbons there. Nothing's completely covered up, and we have a good visual of all of those tails. So again, scrunch it right up the center, put it in there nice and tight. You're going to make sure you want to twist those nice and tight so that when you pull them, that ribbon is not coming out. And then we're just going to keep going along here, and we'll do all those pieces all at once. And we'll cut off the edges, and we'll fluff them all at once. So in the years past, Valentine's Day hasn't been as busy as far as wreath sales as it was in 2023. But 2023, both on Etsy and in the boutique, was very strong sales. So I'm going to go with that, and then, just kind of capitalize and just be ready. Now, I know years change. Through the years, they change. Marketing changes. All the stuff changes. So I'm just going to try and be positive and hope for another great year just like last year. So I'm going to take this and cut off all these pieces, all the excess. Now, this is a step that you don't necessarily have to do, but just for the sake of teaching, if it's your first time, we will go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to make sure when I start, I'm going to push that right down in, and then again make sure I'm taking them apart, up and down, apart, side to side. And I'm going to keep that pattern going so that we can, it's easy on the eye. So I'm going to make sure it goes plaid, heart, plaid, heart, plaid, heart, plaid, heart, all the way around, so that it's just, it is, I mean, I know it might not seem like a big deal, but it is definitely easier on the eye to look at rather than having, both your hearts together, both your plaids together. So it's just a little nicer to look at. That buffalo plaid, still a crowd favorite. It has not slowed down, by the way, as far as being a popular design, popular pattern. I think that's just going to be here as a classic to stay for years to come. Super duper cute. Okay, so then we're just going to take, now I know it might seem boring, but we're going to do the exact same layer, exact same deal on the inside. Okay, so we have our next layer. I'm going to get this out of the way so it doesn't keep catching. Okay, so we're going to get our next layer and go right on top like we were. Now, I'm not going to move anything out of the way. I'm just going to go directly on top. So the layer will start to look really, really nice. Now, from your direct above angle, you might not see the effect that I'm seeing, but once it's all done and you have these real pretty layers going on, it really does look really nice from the outside edges. So I'm just going to go right on top, get my pipe cleaners, pull them right up, secure nice and tight. Same thing, overlap here, overlap here. Now again, I'm overlapping these so that it does stay pretty flat. If you're making these for your own home, if you're making this for yourself, it depends. If you don't have a front door, don't worry about, making them flat. You can just ruffle them and put them right in and it'll be just fine. And when you look at the wreath, it's not going to look super duper flat. It's going to look still from the face that you're looking at. It is going to look still, real full because you got all that mesh in there. You got all those ribbons, everything sticking out. You can see everything. It's not any less of a wreath. It's just flat. It's just flat. And if you're doing this, for yourself or you're budgeting, I'm sorry, you are selling them, it's a very budget friendly for you as a designer, and it's very budget friendly for a customer to purchase. So, it's not a $300 wreath, which I sell those too. But this is our average. It's definitely our most popular over at the boutique where I sell locally. For sure, it's the most popular design. Now, I do sell all over. We only ship to the U.S. at the moment, but I do sorry. I do ship all over the country, both the kits here and the completed projects, the completed wreaths. I've had someone hunt me down that saw a picture of something I did. I never listed it, and you know, she was wondering if I could make it again. Turns out I was like, well, I kind of have that one, just because I was so nervous to list it because it was kind of an expensive design, and I was nervous to tell her how much it was going to be, and she didn't even faze her. I was like, okay. So I learned my lesson that time, and even though some of the things I make are super expensive, just list it. It's just fine. There's someone out there for all of us, the perfect customers, just waiting for you to display and sell your talents. Now, if that's too roughly in the center, no, maybe I just made that word up, it's fine. If that's too roughly in the center, just don't forget we have our sign that's going to go in the center, and that's one of the reasons why you're not going to see any ribbon go towards the center, because that sign is going to cover up all that red mesh that you're seeing. Really pretty. Last piece going in. This mesh is absolutely beautiful. Nice red sparkly foil. It's not sparkly, but it catches the light and it looks sparkly, but really, really pretty. Nice and thick with all that foil in there. There we go. Okay, you're going to still see me put in that next layer of ribbon, all coming out towards the outside, so that leaves the inside nice and blank for a reason. Okay, so we're going to come back in with our next layer, taking that, scrunch right up the center, face it out towards me, putting it right down in there, twist it 7 or 8 times. Okay, going on to the next one, we're going to do the exact same thing all the way around. So let's talk about color matching and why I chose the ribbons that I chose here. Now, obviously, we're going to go with black, red, and white. Not hard at all to call this out. Valentine's Day, you know, you have the black, red, and white, and pink, of course. So very easy to get the colors for Valentine's Day. Now, let's talk about the patterns a little bit. The buffalo plaid being in the sign, I knew I needed to bring that in one way or another. It happened to work out real nice with the 2.5 inch on the outside of this frame. And then we did not want to let go of the polka dots. And honestly, I could have done, which would have worked out very nicely, I could have done the buffalo plaid as my one 2.5 inch ribbon, my one tail. And then I could have done just red polka dots as the second one. I think that would have been just adorable, super cute. And I think, you know, the big heart obviously in the center would have totally been screaming Valentine's Day. So I think we would have been able to get away with that. I just happen to have this heart glitter red ribbon, glitter red heart ribbon. And, you know, it worked out perfectly. So we went with that. But you know, when it's especially like patriotic, you know, of course Christmas, those colors are all very easy to pick out because, there's traditional colors for that. Now Easter, we're talking about some pastels. We know purple is Easter. So then you're just going to want to make sure you're pulling from the sign. You're pulling from the sign and making that your number one kind of, design aspect. What's in the sign? What colors can I pull from the sign? You'd be amazed at how you can pull colors from a sign and make a bow, and you're just going to be like, what? I didn't even think this was going to go together. So always use your sign. Now you're starting to see that layer. Oh, I just love it. I'll put it on its side for you to see. I just love this point. And then at the very end, once we have our sign and our bow made and attached, right at the very end is when I'll go through and make sure all of our tails are kind of perfect, so that when I put it on the door to take the picture, they are all standing at attention and in their own little spotlight. But this is perfection. Okay, so let's put on its side so you can kind of see these layers. It's so nice. The layers just I know sometimes the above head doesn't, you really can't see, but trust me, it's darling. Okay, nice and full look. All right, so our goal with the sign and the bow, is to cover this. It's to cover the inside. Now, you can do this however you choose. I love this sign because there's no words, okay? I love this sign because, I love the signs with words, but there's no words here. So I don't have to worry about covering up little tiny words that might be on the side here. I don't have to worry about that, right? So if my bow comes and sits like this, I'm okay. You can still see that this is a double heart. You can still see the plaid. You can still see the polka dots. I'm okay with that. But my goal here is to cover as many pipe cleaners as possible. So if I put this sign right over off to the side, I know my bow is going to come right here. Now, I make this design over and over and over and over again, so I know how big my bow has to be, which is how it's easy for me to make kits and design your your measurements and stuff. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and put it right through here, right through the back, and add that crisscross, twist, twist. And then I'm going to take a risk. This is a risk. You might not want to do this, but it's up to you. I'm taking a risk and just using that as the other part of my attachment. So again, I'm going to place this here and want to really make sure I am covering up as many of those those as possible. What are they called? You're not here. I'm not live. Those. You know what I mean. You guys, if you're brand spanking new, I forget my words a lot. All right. So the bow is 3 ribbons for the bow. We have the bottom layer, the middle layer, and the top layer. I did definitely want to bring in some black into our bow, and it was perfect with the polka dots. Adorable. So I have the black, red and white, I love you, the black and white polka dots, and the hearts will be for our bow. Now the bow is going to be the same. Okay, I'm going to do a 6-inch tail. No, 6.5-inch tail. 7-inch. Sorry. 7-inch tail, 6-inch loop. 7-inch tail, 6-inch loop. Okay, 7-inch tail, 6-inch loop. And then I'm just going to pinch. And then twist and loop, pinch, twist the ribbon, and loop. Now this bow has 3 total loops. and 2 tails. Okay, I'm going to set that right down in there. And I'm actually going to leave one of those tails long. I just want to see how it's going to look when we get it in when we get it in. I'm thinking I might put the longer tail and the shorter tail coming off the side. We'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks. Okay, then we're going to come in with our next layer. Now, everything is going to get a little smaller from here. So I did 7 inches and 6 inches. I'm going to go like 6 inches on the tail and about 5.5 inches on the loop. Okay, that's what I try to do. I just eyeball it usually. So we have, let's go 6 inches. And then this is just going to get a little bit smaller according to the last loop. Okay, and then I'm just going to pinch, twist, loop, making sure they look about the same. Pinch, twist, loop, about the same, pinch, twist. Now the one thing we're going to do here is we see we have 2 loops here and the 2 loops here. I need these to go opposite. So I need the 2 loops to go opposite. So I'm going to put that right down in there. Always want to make sure, just to make the final wreath real the final bow real balanced. We're going to make sure that is opposite. Okay, now the last layer has 1 small loop on the top, and that helps me conceal my bow or my pipe cleaner. So where the last one will be a little bit different. Again, I'm going to go with 6 inches on that tail, and then the first one is going to be little. It's about 3 inches. That loop is about 3 inches. And then it's going to pinch. Now that doesn't count against your loop count. So I still need 3 loops in addition to that 1 small one. Pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop. Now, if you purchase this as a kit and you're not following these measurements, you will be off. So now again, we're making sure the 2 loops here go opposite. So I'm going to make sure they go on the other side. So you are provided with the exact measurement for the design that we're creating. So you want to keep that in mind. Now, one thing you're going to see me do different than you, your kit comes with a pipe cleaner to secure your bow. Y'all, I have carpal tunnel and my hand strength is not. It's really not. And so I use a zip tie to tie my bow so that I can get it nice and tight and I don't have to worry about it falling apart. And then I use a zip tie cutter to really tighten it and to cut it off. So those are not things that come with the kit, obviously, and they're not things that you have to use. I used just a pipe cleaner for many, 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 many years until recently my hands are like, hey, you're going to be uncoordinated and you're not going to have a lot of strength anymore. So just keeping that in mind. So I'm just going to lift this off here nice and tight, making sure it stays in place. Okay, I'm going to take my zip tie. Take my zip tie and add it to the back. Okay, take my trusty dusty little zip tie. Now this one is a little bit, no, it's not tricky. The teeth to the tool have to grip the teeth to the zip tie. The teeth to the tool have to grip the teeth to the zip tie. If the teeth to the tool are grabbing that smooth side, there's nothing for it to grab onto, okay? So teeth on the tool to teeth on the zip tie, and then I just pull it once tight, and if it's not really, really tight, it will, you'll squeeze it a couple times, but, anyways, okay. We are going to leave one of those tails long. I just want to see how it's going to turn out, y'all. I just want to see how it's going to turn out. And then, of course, we have to dovetail our ends. So we're just going to fold those, cut on the fold, cut on the fold. making sure it is a nice and pointy edge. Okay, and then one flew over here, I know, okay. So then the first thing I'm gonna do is, yeah, okay. The first thing I'm gonna do is, I need this. Sorry, y'all. The first thing I'm gonna do is pull this first loop up to the top and kind of wiggle it. Okay. Oh, I know what I was gonna do. Add my pipe cleaner. I don't know why I set that over there. I'm gonna add the pipe cleaner right to the back. Secure it nice and tight. There. Now I have, because I knew there was something, I hold on to that back there and then pull this up to the top. And then I'm going to pull our long tails down to the side. I'm going to make that a little bit different here. Okay. And then we're going to pull those apart. I'm going to pull that short tail up to the top. Now, even the most experienced bow people, me is who I'm talking about, me, can feel a little bit uncoordinated at this point. Just want to make sure that you get all the way down into the center of that bow that you put together, so that it's, you know, the ribbon part is moving where you need it to move, right? You're the one in charge of this bow. You're the one in charge. Okay, and we're just going to make sure we go a little bit fluffy here. Fluffy. Fluffy. There we go. Okay, perfect, right? All right. So then we're going to place both of them. Just make sure that I can get my bow in a good spot, and then secure the sign first, and then oh, that's adorable. I'm going to bring that, see, I'm going to just adjust that a little bit more, bring that up a little bit. Perfect, I like it. The bow is going to cover up these, perfect. Okay, so now we're just going to secure the sign exactly where we have it. And by that, I'm just going to put those pipe cleaners right through all those layers of mesh. This is the part I dread. It's not my favorite part. I just have my fingers up between the board itself and the mesh. I'm feeling for those under there. I'm going to put both sides in with the pipe cleaners first before I secure either of them. So I kind of know I have them both in. And then make sure I've placed it where I want it or need it to go. And then I will secure them. Again, this is not the easiest part. Okay, so then once I have them in, I'm going to not worry about the ribbon yet, Melissa. Don't worry about the ribbon yet. I'm going to secure it. I'm sorry. Look for where I kind of want it for sure. And then I'm going to flip it over. And make sure my pipe cleaners are then secured. Kind of right where I left them, right where I want them to be. Perfect. And then I'm just tying that right on the edge here so that it's easy for me to push this kind of behind and secure and hide those edges, because you know the edges of those pipe cleaners are not. There we go. So now my sign is on. It's not going to come off. It's not moving. Perfect. And again, not worried about the ribbon yet. And I'm just going to add our bow right to our designated spot that we already kind of have picked out. I'm not worried. Again, I'm not worried that it's going to kind of go over the sign a little bit. It's totally fine. It does make it look like more of a completed project, like the sign is supposed to be there. It all becomes one. I love it, and I always get so nervous when you know, we have to worry about a sign that has little wording around the edges. Although those signs are, I know they're adorable. I know that they're adorable. I'm into them. I love them. But the fact that I always have to worry about my bow, you know, covering up some of those cute words drives me absolutely insane sometimes. So, of course, this is one of my favorite signs. Plus, who can pass up buffalo plaid and polka dots? I mean, come on, right? So now we got the bow in there, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to stand up kind of over, making sure our bow looks perfect. I even have my kids saying perfection. I am going to cut this one a little bit because it is a little bit longer than the others. There we go. Perfect. Good. Now, so my bow is good. Now, the last thing, always the last thing, I'm just going to take and touch, maybe not every single one of those, but make sure that they're all doing what I want them to do. I can see them all. Pull that one out so I can see them all. I don't want any hiding. This is when. So if you play with them along the way, you're going to have to play with them again. So all you're doing is wasting time. So don't waste time. Just play with them at the end. And then that way, when you are ready to pick it up right off your table, walk it right over to your white door with lots of lighting, nice and pretty, nothing in the background, right? Set it right on that door and take your picture. Y'all, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you have subscribed to us. If you did not get our email when this kit was announced, you can get on our emails. All the information is down at the bottom of this video in the description. You can go to don'tmissemails.com to get on our email list. And if you're looking for anything else from us, you can go to melslinks.com. Our phone number, our classes, all the stuff that we offer. This is so stinking pretty. Let me just zoom you out here. Oopsie. Let me zoom you out, zoom you out, zoom you out. There we go. This is so pretty. Look at that. I love it so much. It is so pretty. Nice big bow. I totally love it. And so we took that 14-inch frame and we made it about 24 inches long, or 24 inches wide. It's the perfect size for your door. And again, even though it is supposed to be a pancake wreath or thin, it is for sure. It's definitely thin, okay? But it doesn't look like it with all of that going on. Totally love it. Y'all, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a great time. I hope you're getting ready for Valentine's Day. It's a super cute, super quick holiday, but you know, a wreath goes a long way on your front door, and you look like you are totally put together and you have your act together, even if you don't. Don't ask me though, because Halloween from 2022 is still hanging on my door, and I'm recording this in December 2023. Y'all, I hope you're subscribed, and I'll see you again super soon. Bye, y'all.